So hello everyone, welcome to VizConnect, connecting you with the art of data visualization and storytelling. My name is Sagar Kapoor. I'm part of customer success team at Tableau. So before starting today's session, I just want to go ahead and just talk about our friend Lakshmi. So he has been a great leader, friend, and a community member. And this week we lost him due to COVID. So it was a great loss for the community. He was an active member of the community. He was a Tableau ambassador and a user group leader. So there has been a fundraiser which has been organized by the community members. I will go ahead and share the link. Whatever little you can contribute and help the family, it will be great. With that, let's go ahead and start the session today. We have a YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe to it. Some great content waiting for you. We have a LinkedIn group. Go ahead, connect to each other and learn from each other. And without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce our speaker for today, Annabelle Rincon. So Annabelle obtained her master's degree in bank finance and risk management after a career as a data analyst in the private and public banking sector. She specialized in visual analytics and mastering Tableau, both in desktop and server. She holds a Tableau Desktop Certified Professional certification and was nominated as Tableau Social Media Ambassador in 2020. She is currently leading the Tableau Center of Enablement at Vontobel Swiss Bank and co-leads Data Plus Women Zurich and the Tableau Analytics User Group. So without further ado, Annabelle, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Sagar. I will share my screen. I was also very sad for the news this week. But I think it's good things that we have a community and we all try to contribute. Let me share my screen for the topic that we have today. So I am on a different setup of the computer, so I hope that I not have a lot of more issue. So please be kind with me. The topic of today is about order of operation. And I wanted to say some words about it. I wanted to make it fun. That's why I took a wine dataset, but please don't think that I am telling that you should drink alcohol. I don't want to be controversial here. It's just like a fun topic, a fun dataset. So the order of operation. So I did the drawing that you will see on the full dashboard by myself. So yes, let's go back. And yes, I want to say that alcohol abuse is bad for your health, but not the abuse of Tableau. And yes, so like Saya already introduced me, I will just go to the next page. My patients in life are really Tableau, my dog, and chocolate. I'm working as a lead of the Tableau Center of Enablement Excellence for a Swiss bank. And if you want to register to any of these initiatives, please do so by just scanning the QR code. So why did I come up with this order of operation? I think that order of operation is really a major, very important topic. I wish I knew it when I start Tableau. That would avoid me a lot of questions. But why Tableau is doing that and why is not doing what I want him to do? Understand? Yes, because Tableau is male for me. That's why I said he. So let me introduce some wine example that you will see why I choose this wine example. Because in wine, it's the same. You really need to have, let me add Demo Pro, otherwise I cannot grab my screen. So yes, so in wine is exactly the same. You have to have a certain step as a certain stage in order to make a good wine. If you don't spend a certain amount of time on a certain stage, the wine will not be good. Or even if you, for instance, do this fermenting of this pressing not on the same moment. So for instance, for red wine, you have to do the fermenting first and after the pressing. While for white wine, you need to do it first the pressing and then the fermenting. So you see, it's very, very different, and you really have to follow certain steps. And I mean, in Tableau, like for wine, you have also blending, you see, a blending process. So yes, that's why I just wanted to have a little fun for once. So let me give you like a little task. Can the audience, let's see who is the faster in the audience, can calculate that for me. And on the meantime, I mean, maybe Sagar you can tell me if we have some response, and at the same time I will give you a little hint. The result of this calculation is the capacity of a Nabucodonosor bottle of wine, because yes, French people like to name the different content of bottle of wine with a different name. For instance, you have this Magnum that is 1 liter. Yeah, good. Josh Goel, 15. For instance, you have this container of the Magnum that is 15 liter. The Melchior bottle is 18 liter, and indeed Nabucodonosor is 15 liters of wine, which match for our US friend 3.96 gallon. I watch it online because for me I used to the liter system. So how did you make this calculation?
There was a answer. So Nishant is saying 12.
No, it's 15. Exactly. Did I make a mistake on the calculation?
No, it's right. You're right. You're right.
That's
Yeah.
15. Otherwise, I have to change the beginning in order to have like the correct calculation. Did without pen. That's very good. I was never very strong at mental calculation, so I always had to write it on the pen. And how you do this calculation? You do it because probably your math teacher tell you that you should, you see, definitely today I have an issue. Your math teacher tell you that first you have to do all the operations that are between the parentheses, and then you have to, in the main parentheses inside, and then you have to do the multiply and the divisions, and then you can take care of the addition and subtraction. And when your main calculation is done on the parentheses, you can work out the calculation outside the parentheses. So here I just to give you an example. So that is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, that everyone in the US and in the UK and most probably on English countries, I mean English-speaking country, have studied. My math French teacher never explained that to us with a nice sentence, which have been cool. This parentheses exponent, divide and subtraction at the end. And why does that matter? Because in Tableau, you also have to follow a certain order of operation. And that is the order of operation in Tableau. So it all starts by Tableau will compute first if you have an extract filter or a data source filter. That will happen on the data source level. So even before anything that will be on your worksheet. And then you will have your context filter going on. And the set, calculate, conditional filter, top N, fixed LOD. And you see, even on the LOD, some LOD are calculated first and some are calculated after. So for instance, exclude and include LOD are computed after the dimension filters. And after you have data blend, measure filter. So for instance, if we have like a filter on red wine or white wine, it will be happen before having a filter on a measure. So for instance, if I put like a filter on the price I pay for a bottle. And really at the end of this order of preparation of a query pipeline, you have trend lines, reference line, tooltip, and annotation. So really the reference line is after everything that happened on the Viz. So this dashboard will be published on my Tableau public profile. So as you can see on the bottom part, you always have a start, an issue, a why, and the solution. Here for the, I will really do demos, so I will just go and click on this demo part. So I will just exit, otherwise I will not see the field that I have to add. So we will go through some questions I may have on the dataset. So I have different datasets, and one of the datasets is wine ratings. So for wine, every year you have, I think it's a magazine, Parker, who publish the best wine and everything. And they give a rating, and the rating is between, I think, 50 and 100. 100 being the best. So if I ask myself, okay, what are the top 10 wines in France? So let's see. So first, I will use this rating score. So I will just drag and drop. So it's average rating score that I have on my dataset. Like you can see, I don't probably have all the wine, but I have like, yeah, maybe the, I think I have like the 3,000 best wine or something. I will take the country and the wine name. So I have now all my wines by country, but I'm not interested on all the country. I want only France. So I will just drag and drop country into filter, put none, and select France. And I want my 10 best wines. So I will just drag and drop wine name into filter, select top, and say, hey, I want the top 10 rating score. Yeah, so average rating score. So I will hit OK. But what happened here? Here it doesn't seem that I have 10 wines. I have only 6. So let's go to the query pipeline again, and let's check why is that happening. Is that happening? And I apologize for the size because I have to switch computers. Maybe if I do that, you will see the full screen. Yeah, that's good. What is that happening? Because I'm using a top-end calculation, and the top-end calculation happened here on the pipeline. So it's really one of the first things that is compute. And then my dimension filter on country equal France happened second. Meaning that what happened is Tableau say, hey, I will take the top 10 wine overall for across my full data set, and then I will filter them for, I will filter the one that belong to France. Meaning that the one that I have here, sorry, the one that I have here, I make mistakes, it's really the 6 best wine overall that happen to be also France, from France. So if I want to solve that, what I need is pass the dimension filter before on the query pipeline, meaning that one possibility that I have is add this dimension filter into context, because if that's so, I will have the context filter happening first on dimension country equal France, and then the top n will happen. So I will really have only the top n belonging to France. So let's do that. Not do that. I have like okay, sorry. So if I just right click on country France, I had to context, and now you see I have additional wines. So I could do it again, this time hitting the sorting filter so you see it better. right click, add the context, and you see on the bottom of my 6 best wine in France already appear 4 additional. So the last 4 don't belong to the top 10 overall, but they belong to the top 10 in France. Yeah, let's ask ourselves a different question now. Okay, if I want to know what are the most expensive wine in each French region, to see if I can afford simply buying one of them. And the response will probably be no. So if I had my regions, okay, my country, I will add France because I'm only interested in France. So for the one who know little French wines, you have Alsace, Beaujolais, Bordeaux, Boundary that are like very good wines, or at least maybe it rings a bell. I can obviously add wine names. And I can put grape variety so we know if it's like which kind of wine variety it is. By the way, I really like Alsace wine and Gewürztraminer. And you can see that my list is probably not complete because in Alsace you have a lot of wines that are very good, well rated. So if now I put the final price, because I want the most expensive, so I just drag and drop. I will just sort it so we see it, and I will just make it bigger so everyone can see better the ones. So now I have like sorted a lot of wines by region, but what I want is just like the most expensive. Let's say the 3 more expensive wines. So how I do that? I will just create a calculation and I will use the ranking function for final price. So I will use the rank unique expression. I can just control and add my final price here. And because I want the top, I will say that I want it descending. So fine. Okay. And I just have to drag and drop it. So I can totally put it here so we see the ranking. I can put it here just before wines. What I want is that to restart every for every region. So I just right click here, edit table calculation, and I want it for each region. And now I have the numeration. So if I want the top 3, I just take this, command click, filter. So I have several options. Either I put none and I click on 1, 2, 3. What I prefer to do, it's like just hit OK. Right click and put continuous. And now I just have one data to enter. So now when there is more than 3 wines selected for a region, I just see the top 3 wines. And it seems to work. Why? It's working because this time I use a rank calculation. And the rank calculation is from the table calculation. So the table calculation happens after the context filter, after the fixed LOD, after the dimension filter that I just used for filtering for France, and after other measure filter. So it's really, that's why it's working, because we already have restricted for France, or restricted if I take like a certain region, it will be exactly the same. It will work because that is a rank calculation and that happened first after the filters. So let's take a different question. Let's ask, I really like white wine. But let's say that I cannot invest more than $20, which is already good amount, by bottle. So which are like the top 10 wines, white wine bottle that I can afford? So let's add some data. I will take the white names. Yes, into the view. I will just make it bigger for you to see. I want the top 10, so I I wanted that are the best ranking, the one that has the best ranking. So I just drag and drop rating score into my view. So you see a lot of wine have not been ranking, but that's fine for the purpose of this story. I can put the type into my filter. And I say that I'm only interested on the white wine. And I will add the one that are less than $20. So I will add a measure filter on the price. So I will drag and drop my final price into filter. No, it's an average, sorry. Okay, and I will say the one that are below $20. Okay, there is some. So, yes, I forgot you had like the top 10 wine. So again, white name, top 10 by rating score, hit OK. And here I have nothing. Why? Because you say, okay, Annabelle, you already did that. Almost. So indeed, what happened is like the top 10 happened first. So it selects the top 10 overall on my dataset. And after, it filters for the white wine, which is probably we have some white wine that are on the top 10. But when I had additional filter on measure, the average price, we will have an issue because there is probably on the top 10 only very expensive wine. So the way to solve this situation, and I encounter it a lot of time, it's simply to change this top N by a table calc. So let's do that. So if I just remove this one, I just take back the rating score that I, is it this one? No, which one it was? And take this one, I suppose. Yes, rating score. So if I just take this one, I put it into filter. We'll say I want the top 10. And what did I do? I remove the wine names. Sorry, I can come back. So I just take this rank rating. I take the top 10. And voila, now I already have the top 10 white wine that are below $20. And I can add my filter on my final price here. So you see how much you will pay. So for a wine that it's score 95, which is a high score because the maximum being 100, you can still pay it $16. So it's quite good. So let's pass to the next question. And this time I will not use the same trick. So here, what I want to do, it's like I will start building the Viz on the same time. Because what I want is to have the best wine by grab variety this time. And only display the top 3, but still have information about the overall average. So I will take grab variety into my piece. I will tell all the wine names. Add all member. Again, I will do it a little bigger so everyone see it. And I will take so grab variety, wine name, and average ratings. Okay. And I will. Okay. So for instance, I see that Albarino has, which is an Italian grab variety, has quite good ratings here. Good wines, really good wines. So if I add my reference line into the Viz on the table, I put the average rating score, label, I put the value. Okay, and if I do it again, but since this time into the pane, again, the value here, what I see is that the Alperino variety, graph variety for this data set is ranked 90.8 in average. And overall, across all my data set, I have like an average of 91. Okay, that's good. But what I want is just be displayed the top 3 by graph variety because it's too much and some information are not relevant. So I will not trick you this time. I will take these rank ratings. I will drag and drop it into filter, and I will say, hey, I just want to the top 3. I will have to change it again because I need to just tell him like in which calculation I want. And I want it that it's for every graph variety. So up, edit filter. When you do something like that, you see your filter restart, so you have to go back. So now I have, and I can drag and drop, so you see the calculation here in discrete like this. So you really have 3 wines when there is 3 wines on the data set, the top 3 by graph variety. But what happened here, that I will remove, otherwise it will break. What happened here, you see that my average changed. I don't know if you remember 90 something, and I think it was 91, but maybe I'm mistaken, but they changed. So why they changed? They changed because when you're going back to this pipeline, the reference line that I use for average, for calculating the average overall and the average by graph variety, are calculated really at the end. So everything happened, and the reference size is calculated based on what you have on the worksheet. So, and what you have on the worksheet is only the top 3. So the average change based on the top 3 that you have. And to change that, you will have to use LODs. So we will have to change this calculation and use an LOD. So first the average is calculated, and then the view will be filtered to only the top 3 that you want to display. So let's do it. So I can remove them. Yeah, it's always tricky to select it. Yes. So I will create a calculation, one for the grape variety average. So here my data set, it's a little peculiar because some wine, I don't have an ID, for instance. I have the wine name, and some wine name can be existing in several grape type. So I will just fix my calculation first on I will fix it by grape variety, by name. So I'm sure that I'm taking the average. And again, here it's just a demo, so I am taking some liberty. Often wine experts said that you cannot compare the same wine across different years. Here we will just take the average. So I will just take the average of the score, of the rating score. So, and this calculation, so I will take the average of that, but that doesn't really matter. Okay, I can put, I've put the minimum, and that I will fix it. Right, I will fix it on the grape variety level. So now I have, I put the, I really, can I, no, I change computer, so I cannot zoom in. So here it's really, I taking the average by wine name grape variety, doing the average of all my bottle of wine that are distinct, or I try to have them distinct, and I fix this average on the grape variety level. So if I do, okay, so I just drag and drop into my details. I go to analytic, reference line. Here I want it by pane because I want it by graph variety. And if I put the value of my new calculation, you see that was the average from Albarino. Now, if I do exactly the same thing for the total average, I just write duplicate, okay, and I will change slightly the calculation. So total average, let's call it total average. So this time I don't need it by graph variety, I really need it for the full data set, so I just have to remove the dimension that I put after the fixed calculation. And I can just drag and drop my total here, go back to analytic and say, hey, I want it across the full database. And again, I just have to select which value I want and add the value here so it's accessible. So yeah, so often when you have an issue, just go back to the query pipeline and say, okay, what is going on? I have still 2 additional questions. I'm a very curious person. So my next question is about a different data set. So I have a data set. I'm not sure if it is particularly accurate, but it pretends to be the UK government wine cellar. So it's pretend to be the wine that is consumed by the UK government. Sorry, I needed to drink a little. And so here, my question is, okay, what are the favorite wine that they have? So they have like, I can put continent, I mean, I can put a country, I think. Let's put country, so they have drinking wine across different countries. So France, also like different region here. If that's the total number of bottle of wine that is pretend to be consumed, and I can, yes, so for instance here, for a certain year in my data set, they have consumed 1,200 bottles of wine coming from France. So if I add the percentage, so I just, let's see if I control drag and drag, right click here, quick table calculation, percentage of total. So the French wine consumed by the government is 31%. And okay, that's good, but there is a lot of information. So what I want to be able to do is just right click, for instance, here, keep only, but I want to maintain this percentage. So obviously you know already what will happen when I right click only. Now, because I click only, I have this 100%, but I don't want this 100%. I really want to maintain on my view this 31.5. So how we can do that? So why is that happening and how we can solve it? So that is happening because this percentage of total is a table of calculation, and that happened now the end of my query pipeline. Whereas my country filter happened first. So what you want to do is be able to make this calculation happen a little higher in the hierarchy. And the good response for that is use an LOD. So we will use an LOD to fix the total bottle of wines here. So I will create an LOD, LOD total. So I create a fixed calculation of the number of total of bottle of wine. So it's just like the sum of consumption that I have on my dataset. So I will just add that. I will remove it so you will see. So in reality, I have to fix for everywhere in my dataset is 3,836. So if I drag and drop this LOD total here, that's what I have. Okay, so now I remember that I want, so I will go back to this one. I will actually, so that was not, that's the one that I want to create, but let's open, it's already done. So here, what I want is really like to create a percentage calculation that tell me, that fix the total bottle of wine. That's what I just show you, this part. And to calculate the percentage, I have the sum of the consumption divided by this fixed calculation, this 3,800. And here, because Tableau needs to, here it's an aggregation, so I need to also have an aggregation. I put minimum, but you could put anything because it's already fixed. It will not be aggregated further. So when I just drag and drop this here, what I see, it's like, hey, you can tell me, yeah, nothing it changed just because I already format it. Huh? But I can just, where is my percentage? Yeah. So now if I just right click and keep only, what you can see that this calculation, this table calc is not behaving the way I want. So I will just remove it, but this one is. So now I really have this, thanks to the LOD, when I zoom in the country, it's still maintaining the percentage of total. And that's what was expected. I mean, what the stakeholder wants. Okay, the last question that we will see today is, okay, I have, so again, that is totally fictive, that is not real. I wish it would be real, but it's not. So let's imagine that I have like this huge data set that is matching with my cellar. So on my cellar, I have a lot of bottles of wines coming from a lot of regions. So we can have a look. I really have, okay, so you see, I have like some good bottles. So you see, I just select a different data set. Okay, I can wine name, I can have the region here. I can have the grape variety. Do I have the grape variety? No, I don't have. I have the type. Okay, fine. And what I want is to know, according to the expert, to this Parker rating, what are the top best bottle in my cellar? So because I don't have this information into my dataset, my cellar, I will just go to my wine ratings and I will just blend it with it. So, I mean, the blending relations are already the wine names, type, the region, so that's fine. So I can just, I mean, it has also grape variety, so I can also add the grape variety, that's fine. And I can take this average score, rating score here. So that's good. I mean, I see that some wine that I have are not found on the dataset, so on the Parker dataset, so that means that they are not even worthy of being mentioned, most probably. And okay, so I want the top 10. So I want my top 10. So you will tell me, hey, Annabelle, use the rating, the rank rating. And we say, okay, let's use the right ratings. I will top my top 10. And how many bottles do I have? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That seems to work. So why it's working when I wanted to make it fail because I was probably too kind. It's working here because I didn't do what is on the slide. It's so I will tell you why it's working and I will make it fail after. So if I use when I use this table calculation here using the ranking, it happened after the data blending. So in that case, it will work. If I would have used the top N, it will not have worked. Because if I use the top N, the data blending happened after. So the desired field for the top 10 that has the average rating belongs to the blended data source, meaning that only the fields that are not filtered out will be blended. And that's why if you use, in general, if you use the ranking calculation, it's a main saver. It's happen to solve almost any query pipeline issue is my very best. So I try not to trick you so many times with this top 10, and I really hope that you enjoy it. And if you have any question, I'm glad to answer them.
Thank you, Annabelle.
Thank you.
I think that was a great session on order of operations, one of the most important fundamentals of Tableau. So if you have any questions for Annabelle, please just go ahead and put it into the chat and happy to ask her. So there was a question, Annabelle, on why do we require extract filters when we have data source filters, right? I think Pascal was asking about it.
Okay. I think extract filter are great because it will not even be considered by Tableau when it will say, okay, I'm doing, I mean, it's for performance, it's better. Definitely for performance, it's better. If you do a data source filter, Tableau will still extract on everything, and there is still some thing happening on the background. But I will need like to have like a call with a real expert on that.
Perfect. Thank you.
I know that there is definitely some performance going on, and it's better to do like an extract filter than a data source filter. Yeah.
So Bharat is asking, is there any performance issue if we use more than one context filter?
In the past, there were. I think that the product evolved very good, and now I have like several. I have a big dashboard having several context filter, and that's good. But at one moment, yes, people say, hey, don't use the context filter because they are like slowing down. But yeah, I don't say that it doesn't have an impact on performance. Huh? I say that it's much better now. And again, if you have like, you want to test, please test the performance in Tableau Desktop. You go to the menu help, you start a recording, you test your dashboard, you stop the recording and you analyze. If your dashboard is slow, try really to analyze it, try to minimize the data source, try to minimize everything that you can. I did a session on performance yesterday. And please don't think that your dashboard will be faster in Tableau Server. That's a cry from a Tableau Server admin.
Perfect. And do you have like 2 or 3 things when someone is creating a dashboard and they should think about in terms of performance, if you want to just share with everyone?
Yes, I mean, definitely the first thing I tell them, I say, okay, connect to data source that has only the field you need. The same, don't connect to data source with billions row when you need only the last week. You can, I mean, that already have a huge impact on the performance. Use only the field you need. Don't extract thinking that the extract will solve all your issues. That's for sure. Try to limit the number of filters. When I say the number of filters, 3, 5, it's fine. 200, it's not. The same. 200 parameters on your dashboard, it's not a good practice. You see, you have it's a lot of little things really. But the way you will design, the way you if you optimize already your data source, if you try to optimize your calculation. Again, I do very complex LOD calculation on my dashboard. I don't have any issue. If tomorrow I have an issue, I will push this complicated calculation into the data source. You know, it's like a little mixture, but test your dashboard every time. And if something is happening, use the recording to point out where the problem is coming from. Perfect. And I prefer, I mean, I can speak for 1 hour performance.
Thank you.
So I think what I prefer, for instance, I know, but now I will finish my sentence. Huh?
Go ahead, please. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm just kidding, Saga. Yes, what I prefer really to think, I always encourage people to do like this kind of visual analytics. Instead, so what I mean by that is really to have an aggregated view, and when they want some detail, you go back to a different view, and so on and so forth. Because that is the right approach for you users, but also for performance. And you can watch very good webinar about this warm, cold approach. They're very, at every Tableau conference, they speak about that, and very, very good. And in case of only this drill down by worksheet is not enough, and you still have performance because you have billions of rows and you cannot filter them because you need all of them. The idea is like to create different data source for different level of aggregation. But you can find the all detail in the webinar for Tableau conferences. And yes, visuals analytics are great. When I've seen a lot of people putting, for instance, a big table with 50 filters. Now really work with your user to know what they need and aggregate it to like most details approach is often the best. No, I should.
Thank you. And this is a like interesting thing you have just talked about. I have seen a lot of dashboards which our customers create, and they have around like 50 to 70 filters in their dashboard, right? And they need all of them. What is your best practice and advice to them on that?
So often I tell them that if they need these filters, these 20 filters, it's because they didn't think clearly about what they want. So often on my dashboard, I have 1 or 2 filters, really, if they need them. Otherwise, what I create is like small views. For instance, I don't know, like for if I take the wine, I will have the wine by type, the average wine by type. If I click, it's filter. So I really use views to create filter with filter action. By the way, that is more performing than having a filter. I have read a white paper about that. I was like surprised, but yes, it happens to be apparently true. Yes, so I really rework with the user in order to like to see what are the requirements. And I work with them, and often when they have this view and they understand how to interact, they don't have the filter anymore. But often it's like because the customer are not teach how to use Tableau
Yep.
server.
And just one last question, Annabelle.
Please.
Sarthak is asking, when are the dimension filters applied if the dimensions belong to the secondary data source? And is it better to use dimension filters from a data blending or get it into a primary data source?
Wait, I wanted to read the question, sorry.
Please.
Yeah, but I couldn't find the Q&A, so I was wanted to search, but now I see it. Just 1 second. What are the dimensions filter apply if the dimension belong to secondary data source? Yes, so that's it's just that, as you mentioned, will not apply on the same level on the query pipeline. It's that you will do the dimension, the blending, it will happen on the blending part on the query. It's not better or not, it's like depending of what you want.
Okay, thank you. So just switching the gears, I want to just talk about Tableau Community, right? Like you are co-lead of Data Plus Women and Analytics Group. Do you want to share with us how you manage your time in terms of learning new things in Tableau, managing the community, and inspiring us with your great work?
Thank you. I think that I have been able to do a lot because in the past year I have been working remotely. So that's the benefit for me of 2 hours a day that I can dedicate to these topics. I really also find a lot of energy of sharing the little I know with the community. And yeah, and often, I mean, the only way I learn new things, and that is true, Saga, so it's by watching this your great video. Really, each time I have a moment, I connect to VizConnect on the YouTube channel and I watch the different videos. Because they are short, they are fun, and that's what I do. Otherwise, it's true that often when I organize this Tableau, analytic Tableau user group, I cannot relax and enjoy it because I have like to monitor the chat, I have to answer some question and Q&A, but I really, really like also what I do there and to meet different people. And yeah, the data plus women, you know, as you know, it's like not around Tableau, it can be around everything. But again, it's like, you know, instead of complaining, because I was complaining, yeah, I feel alone in Zurich, there is no one there. Or people are not willing to meet and read, and I'm so jealous of what's happening in London or in other countries because there are like a strong community there. I decided to stop complaining and to create this data plus women in Zurich, and that's happened to be fun. And yeah, people come back, so I really like it.
Thank you. So I think with that, thank you, Annabelle, for inspiring all of us. Thank you for motivating us. I think you are a role model for all of us in Tableau, how passion plays a important role in what you do, right? To inspire everyone. And thank you for your session today. I think it was an honor to have you on VizConnect.
No, it's an honor for me to be there. And it's the second time I got invited. Maybe next year I can come back.